Hello and welcome to MSCI 342, Principles of Software Engineering for Winter 2021. I'm Mark Smucker. I'm your instructor for the course. I'm an associate professor in the Management Sciences Department. And now, what should you call me? I always think it's important to go over this. I just think it's good because otherwise you don't know. So I would prefer it if you call me Dr. Smucker. Some of you don't like that, so Professor Smucker is something you're more comfortable with. I'm comfortable with that as well. You could call me Mr. Smucker. That works too. Some students that could just call me by my last name, and that's fine also. I am Mark Smucker, so you can call me by my first name as well. Now, all of these are applicable, and I guess at the very end, you could call me hey you or something else, but let's just stick to the actual names. So pick what works for you. Anything along here is fine. It's just a preference ordering. Find where on the list you are most comfortable with and use that to call me that. So while we're talking about communication, so that's the basic thing, is how to address me. I think another thing I'll just mention, because we will use a fair amount of it in this course, is email. And how is it that you go about and deal with addressing email? Well, I'm getting pretty old. And so basically, for email, my notion is that really you should start off with a dear, and then you put in whoever's the person's name and comma, and you do that. A lot of you are going to be like, no way, I don't want to write dear. All right, you don't like dear. Say hi. Say name. Okay? You know what? You might even be like, I don't know about that. Then fine. Just go with whoever the person's name is. Just start off the email with the name. You know what? Or just start the email. Have no sort of introduction. That's fine. I think email, to almost a certain extent, is almost becoming a little bit more like instant messaging and things like that, and texting. So, you know, we don't always say dear so-and-so on all those messages. Just do your email and just send it off. Why do I mention this? Because what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to pick the last choice. So do not do, hey, I can't even write it. Don't even do, hey, or hey, not hex, hey, I don't know, hey, whatever the person's name is. Why do I tell you don't do that? Do not do. Is because people from my generation view this as excessively informal, especially in situations when you are talking to someone who you are to be showing respect to. These are your elders, your bosses, your managers, your instructors, your teaching assistants, all these people. It's quite possible that, hey, whatever, it's just too informal. It seems wrong. Now, this is a generational thing. When you are my age, hey, whatever is going to seem proper to you, and whatever the newfangled way to say hello to people is going to be, you're going to be shocked. And you're going to say, no, I can't believe it. All right, this seems trivial, but I really, so the one like, what to call me, Dr. Smucker, how to send an email. This all seems like ridiculous. Why am I starting off talking about in MSCI 242 about, I'm sorry, not 242, 342 about this? Well, it does get to something that's important in this course. We're going to do a lot with teamwork. And you know what? If I don't tell you about these things, the only right thing for me to do is to let you do whatever you want to do and be totally fine with it. I need to not be concerned about it, because I never told you my expectations. So if I want to be upset, or if I want to get riled up or frustrated with someone else, you know what? The only thing proper is if I've already set expectations with them, that I've already worked with them, and I already told them, don't do that. I would appreciate it if you don't actually do that. If I don't, I need to accept it. But too often what we find people doing actually, and you're going to see this, you're going to work on teams all term, and I'm going to tell you right now, like, don't let this happen, is we're going to find people who are like, well, I didn't want to actually tell the person this thing. Then, you know, they might be offended if I tell them how I want them to, what to call me, or they might, you know, this sort of thing. But boy, does that drive me mad when they do that. Well, did you ever talk to them about that it drives you crazy? Oh no, I don't want to. That could be confrontational. So instead, we're going to have friction. We're going to have animosity between us because we can't bother to communicate. No, you either tell people that politely, nicely, that we need to talk about this, we got an issue, we need to come to an agreement as to what's acceptable behavior between us, or you know what, you need to learn to accept it. Because if you're not going to talk about it, you have to be okay with it. All right. So that's sort of like almost like lesson 1 in MSCI 342. And a lot of you are going, wait a minute. This is a software engineering course. Why in the world is he talking about stuff like how to get along with my teammates? Well, the truth is a huge amount about software engineering is about how to get along with your teammates, how to work effectively as a team. Our progression in management sciences starts us off with 121. This is your intro programming course. The key idea is to learn how to work by yourself and learn how to program. Pretty basic, not trivial, but you know, it's learn how to program, learn how to tell a computer what to do. Then in 240, the algorithms and data structures course, we go ahead and we take it up a notch. We're going to teach you about how to scale your programs as data sizes increase. We're going to deal with more complex programs, but you're still largely working by yourself. The last course we had in 245, which was our databases and software design course, we work to even build more complex systems now. Now we've got this database, we're learning SQL, and then we build a whole web system with web framework, Ruby on Rails. I mean, this is a lot of work, but you're still working by yourself. Now, if you want to start building bigger and bigger software systems, you're going to need to work with other people. And that's actually where we're going to find like our next big step. So in 342, our software engineering course, this is where we introduce teamwork. This is how do we build these big systems? Well, we're going to work with teammates. Oh, and we're going to find that that's probably the biggest thing, is how to work as a team to design and build software. That is quite a tricky thing. The course you take after 342 is 343, which is human-computer interaction. And so humans are a critical component, getting them to be able to use your computer system well. But you know, it is actually a very complex thing. And so we're always increasing our complexity as we go through these courses. This is where we're at right now. All right, let's talk more about who else is in this course. Besides, we've got 77 students right now enrolled, and we have 2 teaching assistants. Our teaching assistants are coming back from, you had her in MSCI 245. We have Lexa, and let me spell her name before I attempt to pronounce it. So Lexa pronounces her last name Michaelides, okay? Michaelides. So Yeah, well, Lexa is back. That's great. That's wonderful. And then we have Azine with us for the first time. And Azine Afsar. So oh, I spelled her last name wrong. My apologies. Azine A-F-S-H-A-R. Sorry. Afshar. All right. So, but Azine and Lexa, I think it's okay to call them by their first names. But if you're ever in doubt, just ask the person, okay? All right. They're going to be our teaching assistants. This is going to be great. Now, I've been warned by many teaching assistants and many students that one of the biggest things to deal with in 342 is really this issue that this is not your normal course. So what do I mean by that? Well, a normal course covers, you know, a set of material. You got these lectures, homeworks, and exams. 342 works quite a bit differently. We're, you know, we're going to start off the course and we're going to have these two sort of labs, self-directed. You're going to work on them. I'm going to give you instructions. You're going to work through. It's all Ruby and Rails and GitHub stuff. Fine. You know, and this is going to total about 5% of your grade in the course. But starting this Friday, January 15th, we're going to have teams already formed, and we're going to start meeting as teams. And we're going to start off on a project. And this project goes to the end of the course. And you're going to work with your teams on that project. And the total points associated with this project is 65%. You're going to earn points throughout the course on the project. And of course, there'll be an evaluation at the end of the project. So it's not as though you're going to get 65% determined right at the end of the course. It's going to happen throughout the length of the course. But that's a lot. And then finally, we're going to have some quizzes. And I think I'll just write it as, you know, we're going to have quizzes. I actually don't know, 2 Z's or 1 Z. Anyway, quizzes and tests. So we'll have two of these, and probably, I'm not quite sure yet, about 5 to 10. These will be small quizzes over weekly lecture material. Try to keep people on pace with the lecture material. These are more summative, larger evaluations, and the remaining amount there, that's 30%. So that's really the course makeup. But the big thing is this project. And this is a lot different than your regular courses. You're not used to this idea that, wow, we're going to have so many, so much weight on this ongoing activity that we're going to be doing. And it's a cumulative activity. You work on it the whole time. It keeps building. A lot of times you do homework, you hand it in, you get your points, and you're done with whatever that homework was on. But this, whatever you did one week, you add to it the next week and next week. It's a very different thing. Another thing is different in this course is you're going to be spending, besides time in lecture, which is all going to be recorded like this, you're actually going to spend a lot of time working with your team. You're going to be in a lot of meetings with the team, all right? And what we have is we have 6 hours of synchronous time, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from 9:30 to 11:20 on the schedule. So everyone has this blocked off. We know that everyone's available during this time period. We will try to figure out as best as we can how to accommodate some people who are not in the Eastern time zone. But there will be limits to our ability to accommodate people. It's important to keep that in mind, but we'll try our best. But this is time that we will use often for holding team meetings, doing other sort of activities that we need to do. Whereas in MSCI 245, it was, all right, work by yourself and contact us on Campus Wire and talk to us. And occasionally some people got one-on-one help over Zoom or something like that. We're gonna do a lot more connecting over video conferencing and a lot of working together in this course. All right. So by the way, keep that space free. You're going to be using it and needing it. Don't think that you can, just because the lectures are recorded, you won't be expected sometimes to show up at 9:30. You certainly will be. I got another thing that's different about this course is that the course requires constant attention. Okay, so you're basically always working on it. It's not designed to be too much work or burdensome, but it is a lot of work. Students have talked about it, that the course has quite a bit of work to it. You basically get into the mindset of, well, what am I going to do on the course today? Every day you're probably going to be thinking, oh, I should do something for the course. If you're not, you'll fall behind with it. You won't actually be working on your project as expected. The idea is to have this sort of constant output from you, and that's different. And it's not designed to be cruel or mean or anything. It's just different. It's designed this way because this is what we think works best to help you learn the material and to succeed. But after 2 years of university where you're so used to a standard setup, it can be jarring. So it is different. And we really need to make this aware of you. We're going to have teams, as I mentioned. Teams are always going to be 6 to 7 people. I form the teams. There's a team placement survey. I've provided a link to it on Campus Wire. That's due. The survey is due by 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday. So I need it done by midnight on Tuesday. And basically, the big point of this is for me to be able to design balanced teams. I want each team to have a mixture of skills and abilities. And so basically everyone is on an equal team. The placement survey gives you a chance to tell me who you should not be on a team with, because I'm going to inform them. I don't want to stick people who have serious personal issues with each other. I know these can develop in cohorts. There's all sorts of reasons that they can happen. I don't need to know the reason, but I do need to know if you cannot be with someone. I've mentioned this in the survey. Do not list people you just simply don't want to be with because you think that they're weak, or you know they're one of the poorest, the students who don't get high marks in a course. That's not acceptable. These are for serious personal issues where you know working with this person will not work. It will cause problems or cause you distress. You know, you don't like someone that much. Well, you don't like them that much, you know, but most, you know, like, but this is for serious issues. These are people that you know that you have a past history with them, that you cannot work with them. All right. How are we going to run this? So this is kind of overview of stuff, but we're going to be building, you're going to work to build a product. And so you have to have a client. Who are your clients going to be? The TAs are going to play the role of the client. All right. So the TAs are going to play the role of the clients for you. We're doing this It has worked well in the past. In particular, I think it's going to work well during the pandemic so that we don't have to try to coordinate with someone from outside the course. We have enough things to deal with a fully remote course that I think trying to rope external clients in is too much. So we're going to use it. TAs are going to be the clients. This works well. So I'm fine with this. Then there is going to be an important notion that each team basically has an idea that there's a manager, and that's the instructor. That's me. And so I'll make this clear, is that when you work on a team, you go off on co-op or you go take a job, the team may very well do a lot of stuff autonomously, but there will become times when the team can't make a decision. Person X and person Y disagree. How are they going to resolve it? Well, the way to resolve it is they turn to the manager and say, what are we supposed to do? This person thinks this person thinks that. So the manager can do that. Also, I'll be there to offer advice. How should you better meet the need of the client? What sort of things could you do? What do you want to talk to me about software design? All sorts of stuff. That's what the manager's for. I'm not going to have the time, and I'm not going to micromanage anything. I'm not going to tell you what to do. The way that I tell you what to do is basically via the lectures as an instructor. Okay, and this is one of the reasons I'm going to have the quizzes, is to be sure that students are actually keeping track of what I'm telling you and how to do it in the lectures. So those are sort of my instructions to the team, is via the lecture. What do I expect, and how should you do things, and how should you do this whole software development? And I'll play the role as a manager then. And ultimately, I'm the person as the manager who decides on what your final reward is in the course. It's your grade, okay? Like I'm going to oversee, make a decision of how well did you actually do. So that I'm there observing you all term long. There's all sorts of stuff that we're going to do to do that. But you should really think of me with respect to the teams as your manager. Now, this raises an important point. So as I said, I'll give in lecture as an instructor or manager, whatever you want to do it, these instructions to you on how to do things. Now, some of you have gone on co-op and worked in agile software development environments. Maybe you've even done Scrum. We're going to do Scrum this term. And you will have learned ways to do things. You learn a tremendous amount of stuff on co-op. So you will have learned, oh, this is the way that we used GitHub. Oh, this is the way that we ran stand-ups. This is the way we did sprint planning and blah, 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 blah. And we have this phenomena that students come back into the course and they work with their student teams and they tell their student teams, what the instructor said in lecture, I don't care. Oh, at Shopify, we did this. Oh, at Snapchat, we did this. Oh, Facebook, we did this. That's great. You learn a tremendous amount working on different teams at different companies. I certainly did. I worked at a whole slew of them. And at each one, things were different. And at each one, I had different bosses and different expectations. And basically, I never had a problem of being like, okay, well, this new boss wants it done this way. All right, either I'm going to do it that way, or I'm going to go talk to the boss and say, on my last job, we had this really great way of doing it. Do you think we could do it this way? You know what? I'm totally fine with you coming to me and talking to me about that. But what I don't want you to do, it's the same thing your managers off in the real world don't want you to do, is to go to your team and be like, I know the manager said this, but you know what? Let's do it this way. No, that's not going to fly when you're on a job to actually do opposite of what the manager says. And don't do it in this course. We're going to teach a way to do agile software development, okay, to work as a team, software engineering, and that's the way that we want it done in the course. I don't want it done differently. If you want to do it differently, just come talk to me. And I might say, that's actually a great idea. Actually, yeah, I think your team should actually do that. I'm totally cool with that. Teach your team that. Let's see how it goes. That's the way the manager would be as well. But you know what? Otherwise, I want you to do what I tell you to do. And you need to think about this as it's like, yep, I'm off on a new co-op job. What does this manager want me to do? I still want to be a good employee. So I need to do what my manager wants me to do, even if it's not the same way it was at my last co-op. Take on the course that way, and we're gonna have a really good time. All right. Do I have anything more? Nope. We'll talk about what is software engineering and everything in another lecture. All right. Bye-bye.